these beers I've got for you today, buddy. I cannot wait.
From this brewery that we both know very well and luckily still exists because that hasn't been touched like by this weird timeline thing. But anyway, it's the Weinstefaner Vitus or Vitus. I don't know how you pronounce it. This ancient beer scroll. As a child, he performed miracles and he was therefore beaten by his father.
The Brew Society is this club, this brewers club in Belgium. Oh my God. I've never tasted a beer like this. It's strong, but it's subtle at the same time. This is beer wizardry.
You get all those beautiful aromas of cloves. I think I was pouring the beer at the right flow that allowed me to travel back in time. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to try it again. If I can get back in time, I can restore the timeline and hopefully get Guinness back. Do you know what Guinness is? And was actually the beer that the monks were consuming and still apparently do, according to their website, for their meals. Sometimes when you have these deja vus, all you're dreaming is about another self in a different timeline, my friend.
Like intersecting parallel universes?
Exactly.
Weird.
Hopefully in that other universe they have still Guinness.
Welcome back to Beer Brackets of the Month, everybody. Number 14. Alessandro. Episode 14 of Beer Brackets of the Month. It's quite the number, man. It's quite the number. For anybody who hasn't seen one of these episodes before, you are in for a treat. This is by far our favorite episodes to do. They're some of our lowest viewed episodes, by the way.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But nothing encompasses the passion that Alessandro and I have for beers and the concept behind this channel more than Beer Brackets of the Month. We started off doing this during the pandemic and just FaceTiming with each other and presenting beers that we were really excited about to each other and opening and closing our beer brackets together with wonderful, iconic, historic, legendary beers. And the tradition continues through Beer Brackets of the Month. And buddy, do I have epic beers for you today?
I know you do. You've been talking about this for a while, and when you do, I know that you found some beer treasures that are, quite special. So I can't deny I'm super excited about this.
The gentleman that I always am, I will let you start with opening your beer bracket, but I must tell you, it's going to have to be good to live up to mine because this beer, it's historic. It might be one of the most historic beers in the world, my friend. But I will let you. What are you opening? I can't wait to see what you have because your beers are always mind-blowing.
Well,
what are you opening your beer brackets with?
Thank you for the nice introduction, my friend. I feel like it's almost like I feel a lot of pressure now. I will say today, there's two.
A little bit of beer pressure.
Yes, exactly. There's two beers that I'm quite excited about. Normally, I try to pick them with the theme. In this case, I found these two beers, and they didn't quite have a theme that went together, but they're so special on their own accord, for different reasons. So the first one I'm opening and I'm starting with, I'm actually very excited that I was only just able to find it. So when I found it, it was one of those moments where it's a beer that I've had before. But I was just I can't believe it's here. It's incredible. It's just
it's here in my presence.
Yeah, it's just like a flashback to a lot of good memories. The beer is the Lvivske from Ukraine, specifically from the city of Lviv, which is a beer that I first got to experience and enjoy because of my previous job, when I was working in Italy, I traveled frequently to Lviv in Ukraine because my company at the time had an office over there. So I got to experience this beer there with friends that I'm still connected with many times. And, just seeing it when I went beer shopping just made me just overjoyed, like, and just because I remember that taste, and it's something that not having traveled often to Europe, like it's not something that I've been able to experience. So, yeah, my friend, that's quite the special beer for me here.
That is amazing. I'm so happy you're able to find that one. You know what? That encompasses what I was saying so well, like the spirit behind Beer Bracket of the Month and why this kind of thing is so fun. It's the beer hunt. It's seeing something when you're out where it's just like, oh my God.
Exactly.
I cannot wait to feature this special beer and to talk about it and to share it with somebody who loves beer as much as I do and to drink it in this special ceremonial environment that is Beer Brackets of the Month. That is amazing. I can't wait to hear about that beer.
I'm excited.
But,
now I've introduced mine, my friend. Now it's time for me to just sit and enjoy. So please, what are you opening your Beer Brackets of the Month with?
I could not wait to show you this beer. And I don't know if you've heard of this beer before. I think you've heard of where this beer is from. I know you've heard of where this beer is from before. So let me get into the history and the lore of this beer to set it up.
Okay.
Going. So my friend, this beer is called the Einbecker. This beer was founded, as far as beer history knows, was founded in the year 1378. It's almost 1,000 years old. We're getting there. And this brewery, Einbecker, is one of the oldest operating breweries in the world currently. It's from the city of Einbeck in Germany. And do you know why that city is significant?
Bock.
Yes. It is where the bock style of beer was created. And so this makes this particular beer possibly the first ever bock. There's more. There is more to this legend, my friend. They have a legend inscribed above the brewery door that says without Einbeck there would be no bock, which is just fantastic. But I must ask you a second beer question right now. Have you ever heard of Martin Luther? The medieval monk priest.
I'll be honest, like it rings a bell, but like no, probably not.
No problem. So Martin Luther is pretty much the prophet that the Protestant.
Oh, sorry, no, Martin. Then yes, sorry. I'm yes, I know who he is.
This was his favorite beer, and he was an avid drinker of this particular beer, my friend. He was actually given a cask of this beer right before his trial in 1521, where he was to be excommunicated from the church. He was given a cask of this beer to soften the blow and get him ready for trial.
See, those monks, they're always so nice. Like, here, like we don't like you, but still we'll give you this cask of beer to go with you. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So this beer, my friend, from Einbecker, and look at this little stubby bottle.
It's so awesome.
It is called I can't even pronounce this, the Ainpöckisch 1378 for the year that it was founded. So the Einbecker, what they did was they, to the best of their ability, recreated that original recipe that was Martin Luther's favorite beer. And here it is in this form as the 1378. How cool is that?
That's incredible, my friend. That's incredible. One thing that I wanted to just mention to go with the story, it's, we obviously don't know the beers that we're picking, but funny enough, there's always a connection, because even the Lvivske apparently was first initiated by monks in the 1700s, 1715.
Was it really?
Yes. So I went and dug a little bit in the in the details of the origin of the story. It seems like the count gave permissions to the monk at the time that we're living there to brew beer, and that's how the beer. So those wizards, my friend, they're always around. When it comes, the more you dig, the more you find them.
They're always around. And so the best part about this is an unfiltered bock, which apparently is to mimic that original style, that original version of bock from back in 1378. Dude, let's crack these beers open. We've been beerless for too long.
Let's do it.
I am so excited to try this.
This is why this is fun.
Tasting the beer that Martin Luther drank before his trial. Oh, wow. It's actually got very strong sort of Pilsner aroma.
Ooh.
Look at this. Look at that color. Beauty. Look at your... Oh, you've got the beer brackets mug there,
Oh
too.
yeah, my friend. Because this bottle is a little bit bigger,
Mm-hmm.
15.2 ounces, and its beer is 4.7%. Marketed as a premium lager. I would say judging by
Nice. Look at that.
the aroma, it leans a little bit more towards the Pilsner style, but look at this beautiful beer, man.
Look at that. There's nothing more beautiful than like a mug with the side handle like that, like the beer brackets mug, just filled with beer with a nice frothy head.
Here it is.
Well, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
I've been waiting so long to try this beer with you, and I can't wait to hear about yours. Let's take our first sips.
Ooh.
Wow. Wow.
Nice.
I'm oh wow.
So, my friend, I gotta ask, like, I can't wait to hear your impressions on this. Like, such an historic beer, such an amazing history behind it. How does it taste?
This is like, granted, I haven't tried too many bocks in my life. I've tried a handful, and of course, Doppelbox and my box. I haven't had too many bocks. This is incredible. It's so drinkable. There's like a nice, crisp, strong carbonation. At first, it tastes like you're drinking a Pilsner, almost along the lines of like Pilsner or Kel, something a little sour and bitter at first. But then it transforms into like a caramel, vanilla, chocolate, but with like a estery, like bubblegum finish on it too. And the finish just transforms and evolves over 10, 15 seconds after you take a sip. This is magnificent. My friend, this is a beer bracket of the month miracle. This
Sounds
delicious.
like it, my friend. Like, and it's always quite special when you get to experience like a beer that has been brewed for such a long time, right? Like it almost like it's a testament that it has stayed throughout the centuries, regardless of the evolution of the styles. Like I think that's quite remarkable.
Exactly. Okay, tell me about yours. I'm dying to hear about it.
So, my friend, like this is incredible for a lot of intangibles for me because I can't even remember last time I tried this beer. It's funny, like just taking a sip of it, like just transport me right back there, like in pubs and bars that I used to go with friends over there in the city center.
Beer memories.
Yeah, beer memories for sure. No, absolutely, and it's incredible because like it has like this very particular aroma. You know, it's a lager pilsner, like leaning a little bit more towards the pilsner. So we have the classic hoppy aromas. You get a little bit more malt forward. So you know that's where like I can see it being more lager like, but still very crisp, refreshing, easy drinking. Like it's cold, ice cold like this, or when it was served on tap over there. It's just like absolutely amazing, and you know just takes me right back there because of those subtle aromas and flavors that are difficult to pinpoint. Nice. Very, very difficult when it comes to lager. But it's just like a combination of the mouthfeel, the creaminess, and just so amazing. So amazing. One other thing that I to just point out about the beer itself, obviously, as the name says, like it was brewed initially around the city of Lviv, which is in the western part of Ukraine. And it kind of like stayed consistent since 1715, which is, you know, quite a long time. Also during the Soviet Union, like it was, you know, had become like quite popular even back then, like staying like with a slightly different name. But the brewery stayed across like all those centuries, kept brewing this beer, and it's still to this day like one of the most popular in the whole Ukraine, like so, and Eastern Europe for that. Like, and it's not the only beer that they produce. Obviously, they have different styles. But this is obviously the only one that I was able to get. So, you know, quite remarkable.
And you found that at Total Wine?
I did. It was, you know, I was literally shocked when I saw it. To be quite honest, like I think I bought this one here before we had even decided like to plan a beer bracket of the month, because like when I saw it, I just said like it doesn't even matter when, like I have to feature this the next time we have a chance. So
this one too, I bought this beer like a month and a half ago. A long time. I've just been holding on to it.
See, it's that
because when I see things like this show up at the LCBO, like the liquor stores here, this was a one-off. These kinds of beers, they show up on the shelf. They have a couple of them, and it's sort of like a one-off order. Once they run out of that initial order, they don't bring them back. It's kind of like a special feature. And so I got two of them. I've just been holding on to them. They've been taking up space in my fridge, really just, you know, pissing off my wife.
It's for the greater good. It's for the beer bracket greater good.
Thank you. I'm going to show her a recording of you saying that over and over again.
Put
just
it
so
in
she
loop.
knows.
It's for the greater beer good.
It's for the greater beer good. The greater beer good. I'll just have that soundbite on my phone. It's like a button on the press. It's for the greater beer good.
That's, poor Natalie. I'm sorry.
So one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I think this is a good occasion to do this, beer brackets of the month, my friend.
Oh, tell me.
Have you heard of, we did that episode with ChatGPT.
Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
Have you heard of, it was fun, right? Talking to ChatGPT, what is the greatest beer in the world, getting ChatGPT's opinions on that. Have you heard of Google's
No.
AI?
Do they? Oh, of course they have one. Like what is it called?
They have an AI chatbot now, and it is called Bard.
Seriously?
What's that face? Why you? Yeah, why? What's up?
Dude, that's
What's
a
wrong?
sign. It's literally a sign. Like, Guinness that I keep talking about?
Oh my God.
No, seriously,
I have a
listen.
feeling that doing this episode, you start talking about Guinness again.
Listen, it's important. Like Guinness, like has on the logo of Guinness, like it's iconic. Like it's an ARP, and the ARPs like are the instrument, the classic instrument of bards. Like it's like the symbol of Ireland. Like it has to mean a connection. We got to talk to Bard now. Do you have your beer computer? The harp itself is so tied into Irish culture because
It really is.
bards were the kind of like the poets of Irish culture, and they always had the harp with them, and they would tell stories, bring on the tradition, and move around from village to village. So they were, the keepers of the Irish culture.
Do you feel that?
I did, man. It felt for a second like it smelled like soup.
It did. It did smell like
Weird.
soup.
Like I hadn't experienced that in quite a while, but
That was like another beer deja vu, like we had last time we did beer brackets of the month. It's like a beer echo.
it's a memory, a distant beer memory from another dimension.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the beer computer, and we are gonna talk to Bard because I have some questions for Bard right now, and these are the perfect beers to have while we do this.
Right?
This is awesome. Yeah. So we made this connection. So I know you're saying there's some kind of connection to this beer Guinness that you're talking about, and a Bard.
That's yes.
But
the bards are the ones carrying the ARP. The ARP is the logo of Guinness. It's even more ancient than the Guinness. It's just like everything. You gotta trust me on this.
I remember learning about that in one of my college history classes. The bards, the Irish bards. Yeah, I remember it. And they were the ones responsible for keeping legends alive. They would go around from village to village spreading the legends.
My friend. That's why I think Bard is my only hope here. We've got to ask him.
So what do you want to ask Bard?
I want to say, do you know about Guinness? Let's start with that. I think that makes sense.
Okay, start with that. It's thinking.
Look at that.
Wait, what?
Look.
So there you go. See, Bard it has no idea what this Guinness is, man.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Trust me, we go deeper. We got to go deeper. He knows, he understands. Trust me on this. It's a sign.
We're here. I've got a beer. I'm okay with going deep, but what else can we ask? Didn't you mention you mentioned that something about talking to Arthur, this guy Arthur
Yes,
Guinness?
I did, man. I was with him. I was hanging out. I was having pints with him. It was amazing.
Why don't we ask about Arthur Guinness? Maybe because if what you're saying is true and this beer was wiped from existence, then technically Arthur Guinness should have still been alive. He should still be.
That's a good point.
On record.
Let's ask him about that.
It's thinking
again.
Okay, so it definitely has information on Arthur Guinness.
I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth here.
We're not getting anywhere this way, so maybe what we should do is we should explore the legend of the Bard a little bit more. So you mentioned that there was a harp logo.
My friend. They were the keepers of the stories and the poems that told the history and mythology of their people. He's got to know.
Let's ask him about the harp. Oh, God. Deep into your beer memories. I'm a little nervous. I got to say, my friend, that's a fantastically worded question.
Let's see.
The harp is also associated with beer.
See?
In Celtic culture, it was often used to accompany the brewing process. And it was said to have magical powers.
We are on something.
that could improve the quality of the
You
beer.
see, my friend, like I'm not lying here.
So wait, the harp was said to have been used by the goddess Brigid to brew the first beer.
We're getting to something. We're getting to something.
Okay, but wait. I think it crashed. It's still just thinking. It's still just processing. Okay. At this point, buddy, I think we just need to close our beer brackets at this point. We can leave it open. We can leave the computer open. We can let it process, and we can come back later and see what happens.
I guess like that's the only way.
I can't believe we broke an AI just by asking about the harp.
We haven't broken. He's thinking. He's thinking.
I see that crazy look in your eye, and I think there might be something in what you're saying, but I'm still not buying it. But it is really strange that this Brian Boru's harp was enough to confuse Bard to the point that it actually imploded.
There's truth.
Anyways, my friend, we are going to put these delicious beers aside. Do not worry. This is like the Beer Brackets public service announcement. These beers will be drank, but we need to close our beer brackets, my friend. And I will let you begin. What are you closing your beer brackets with? I can't wait to see.
All right. Let me take a last sip here of the delicious Lvivske. All right. This second beer, or closing beer, to better say, is one that it represents a style that somehow we have not featured. For what I remember, I might be
at all.
I don't think we have, my friend. And you might, now you see it. You correct me if I'm wrong. But I was quite excited to find it, not because this one here is easier to find than the other one. Like the other one was literally an absolute surprise, but this one was one that I hadn't seen in a while. I thought it's time. This is a sign. There's a lot of different small legends around this beer that I would love to share with you tonight.
I can't wait.
So the beer that I am drinking is the Gaffel, the German Kolsch.
Whoa.
So as you probably are familiar with, Kolsch beers are beers that are coming from the town of Köln in Germany. They have to be
and you're right, we haven't talked about Kolsch's on the channel yet.
So they can be a maximum, I think, like 50 kilometers around the city limits to have to be. So it's a designation. It can, you can make a beer here in the United States and call it Kolsch because it's a designated name, and so it has to come from there. Yeah. So the Gaffel. Specifically, it's a newer brew, if you want. Like it's from beginning of the 1900s, so it hasn't been around like for quite a long time. But it has like in the name a little reference to the old tradition. Gaffel in German represents like the fork, the two. I don't know what they're called, like the little fork.
On a fork, those are. Okay, I'll come back. I'll think about it.
Yeah, but we understood. Like I'm sure, Promise. But. And that is like an old echo to the origin of the style and the guilds of brewers that were reunite around the table and represent the brewers like in the town.
Yeah.
But here's one thing that I just wanted to mention because I think you're really gonna like it about the history of Kolsch in general.
Oh my God, tell me.
So just very quickly, we will do a more in depth about the style, like I'm sure as an inside the brackets, but. What is important to know is that Kolsch are made with, they look and taste like lagers, but they're really made with,
they do.
Top fermented yeast, so ale yeast.
There you go.
So that's very important to know. But what is important about this legend is that in the beginning of 1600, all the town, the town council made swear all the young brewers that they would never use bottom fermenting yeast because that would.
Why?
Yeah, they made them swear an oath to keep that tradition alive. And that's why like Kolsch beer has kept using top fermenting yeast. I did not know about this. I thought like that it was just like something that had, but apparently in the 1600s they were afraid of this style going away. So they gathered all these young brewers and they said, swear an oath that you're never going to use like the other kind of yeast, only the top fermented yeast. Yes, apparently that's.
Oh my God,
that's a pretty cool legend. I didn't know about it, so I thought like this is perfect for the beer bracket of the month. We need to bring it up.
That is absolutely perfect for beer bracket of the month. Oh my God, wow, that's so cool. Well, yeah, you're right. We have never talked about a Kolsch on the channel before. That is a completely unexplored style that we will get to eventually in our beer exploration journey. We will get to Kolsch. We're just not there yet. But we will. This is our first. Beer bracket of the month is amazing because we always sort of like skim the surface of beer styles. Yeah. And we first encounter them, just like we did kind of, with wheat beers. We first sort of encountered them on Beer Brackets of the Month. Even with Orval, certain Trappist beers, we encounter them on Beer Brackets of the Month. And then we just explore them in more detail later on. It's a good testing ground.
It's the exploration edge. We're on the edge of the uncharted territory, my friend.
If the beer world was flat, like a flat beer world theory, like a flat beer earth, we'd be on the ice wall edge, just around the edge. That's where we'd be. All right, my friend, my closing beer I'm very, very excited about. And one of the main reasons I'm very excited about this is because I'm revisiting a style of beer that I haven't had in a very long time, and that is the farmhouse ale. Yes, a good old Saison. Nice. And there's nothing better than a nice Saison in the summer. But I must show you this beautiful beer. Look at this. It's got a little cork pop top.
Oh, I love that.
Look at this beautiful little thin bottle. Look at this. Look how cool this is. And this is from a Belgian brewery called Brasserie de Blaugies. Brasserie de Blaugies. And they've been around since 1988. And so the great thing about this is that it's an actually functional farm. Okay. And they do brew beer as well. And they're known for their saisons, for their farmhouse ales. And this particular one is called Le Vermontoise, which is basically French for the Vermonter. And so it was done in collaboration with a farmhouse ale brewery from Vermont, from the state of Vermont, in your great country, my friend. And so the people from this Vermont brewery traveled over to Belgium, to this town, to see these brewers who were known for their farmhouse ales, and they did a little collaboration. And so they brought over some of their American hops.
That's awesome.
To partake and share with them. So this is a version of their Saison that incorporates some more citrusy American hops. Which is fantastic. And this is the one that they did decide to export to Canada that I could get here at the LCBO. On the label there, you see a nice little horse and buggy pulling the cart of kegs of beer.
That's pretty cool.
I'm very, very excited to try this one. It's because they are apparently, like I said, renowned for their Saisons. And this is, again, the beauty of Beer Brackets of the Month. Getting to try this delicious, rare, special beer with you, my friend, today. It's just so special. Let's open these up and let's see what we think.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. It's time to pop that cork.
There you go.
Oh no, it's exploding.
It's excited to come out of the bottle.
Oh, this desk. How many episodes of Beer Brackets have I just poured beer all over this desk? Oh no, I knew that would happen.
That's okay. That's okay. At least we both can find the beers.
Woo. Oh no. That exploded. This is, oh no.
Time.
Woo. Mine exploded.
It's a beer desk.
It's such a beer desk. Wow, look at that. Look at that sort of like soapy, foamy head.
Oh, look at that, man. That looks amazing.
You know, we talk about like micro bubbles sometimes, like heads that have millions of very fine, highly carbonated bubbles. This is kind of the opposite. It's got like those giant, fluffy bubbles.
Color also, it has almost like an unfiltered look to it.
It does. It does. You know what? The smell of this reminds me of another favorite beer of mine. Beer tissues here. I'm going to clean this up before it
That's pretty fair.
Spills all over the place. This will be a problem for future Joe. I'll worry about this later. But it reminds me of actually the A Tout Le Monde that we reviewed from Unibrew, which, by the way, has been discontinued. They no longer make it.
Oh my goodness, that's another ghost beer.
So as you read this, know my friends, I love to stay with you all. Please smile when you think of me. My body's gone, that's all. A Tout Le Monde.
Yeah, another ghost beer. One of my favorite beers, A Tout Le Monde, just gone. Because they replaced it actually with a beer that we tried. Remember before my wedding when we had that one Unibrew beer before going to the ceremony, the Saison 13? I think their partnership with that band Megadeth I've just moved on from that to the Saison 13, I think.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
But yeah, I've been looking for it. I couldn't find any more. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Let me know
Such
what
a
you
pleasure.
think. Oh my God. This is very similar to the Tout le Monde. Coming in at 6% ABV. Oh, wow. This is extremely similar. I'm loving this.
It sounds delicious, my friend. I love the Tout le Monde, so like I bet like this one here has like a lot of great similarities. Sounds like.
So tell me about yours. How's it there?
This is quite special, my friend. I hadn't had a Kolsch in a proper Kolsch, like a imitation of the style that brewers here have tried to make, but like an actual Kolsch from there, like it's quite different. I will say, incredible because like it has this aroma that has very much like lager-like, but it's not a lager at all. But I think the very big difference is when you take the sip, because at first you're hit by the hops, but then it has this very unique maltiness with some estery character. It's not quite floral, but it has almost like a vegetal, like, a little bit of a fruitiness, like very light. But the biggest and main characteristic, which always surprised me every time I try one from there, there's this very unique minerality. I don't know how to better describe it.
I love that word. I love that word minerality when it comes to beer.
It's very unique because in wine, it's something, often you find it and it's easy to pinpoint or easier to pinpoint. But in beer, it's very rare. And I find that all the Kolsch like have this, like, because it's almost like a savory dryness that like and it's not hops because the hops are coming at the end. So it's really quite different and unique.
I know exactly what you mean. That's a perfect description. Savory dryness, 100%.
It's incredible, my friend. And, cold like it's supposed to be, it just like drinks like so well. Like it's so good. But tell me about yours. I want to hear about like that amazing farmhouse ale.
Well, so it uses spelt and Amarillo hops.
Ooh.
When they say that American hop style, I think what the kind of, flavor that evokes is kind of like a little citrusy, right? When you think of American hops, it's kind of like that traditional real Saison farmhouse ale, if you could picture that.
Yes.
But there's like this citrus kick at the end of it as well.
Nice. Really
sharp, strong carbonation. The kind of carbonation that like hits the back of your throat as you take a sip. Like that's strong. You get like sort of like a burnt caramelized maltiness at first.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of citrus. And then there's just that hop flavor. But like any farmhouse ale, like we saw, if you watch our episode Inside the Brackets, The Legend of the Farmhouse Ale, you know that these beers originally were meant to be served to the workers on the field. And so they used to be much lower in alcohol percentage. Now, of course, over time, they've been raised a little bit because they're not actually, the workers aren't dependent on the beer anymore to get through the day, unfortunately. So they have that freedom and ability to raise the alcohol percentage. But like every other Saison farmhouse ale that you have, there's that expectation that it's going to be easy drinking. It's going to be refreshing. It's going to be lively, citrusy, crisp. And that has all of this. This is absolutely delicious. This is a fantastic beer.
That's wonderful, my friend. And let me say, like always, it's such a pleasure to, record these episodes and film those episodes because, how lucky are we? We get to sit here and enjoy these amazing beers, but not only we get to learn more about them. And it's one of those things. I always think that because the other person is presenting them, like, you get to hear about beers that maybe you would have not picked, or a lot of times you might not have been even able to pick because you can't find them where you are. So that's such an amazing experience, really.
We hope everybody enjoyed this as much as we do. These Beer Bracket of the Month experiences, like I said before, it's Alessandro and I's favorite kind of episode to film. This is the essence of beer brackets right here. So hopefully you all came along for the ride with us and opened and closed your beer brackets with us. If you did, let us know down below what you had. What did you open and close your beer brackets with?
Write it down.
Have you tried any of these beers before? Let us know what you think. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. And whatever you do next time, do not
forget to close your beer brackets.
Cheers.
Never forget. Cheers.
Curious about that, about Bard. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more.
He's thinking, man. I'm telling you. He's not.
It's still, I can see my computer out of the corner of my eyes. The dots are still flashing. It's still
It's
thinking.
not broken. I believe in Bard. I believe in you, Bard.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave my computer on just in case. I'm going to see. It looks like it's frozen, but I'm going to leave it on and see what happens. So I'll keep you posted on that, buddy.
The answer might surprise you, my friend.
Well, keep an eye open for the next episode of Beer Brackets of the Month to see. We'll update everybody on what happened with Bard here, but I don't know. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us.